That concludes the council comments. Now for the mayor's report. We did have a fabulous time on Thursday, and I'm excited to see council's reaction from all the project managers. This was something that wasn't surprising to me. I think maybe in 2009, Jones, Jordan, and Gould, I always get that mixed up, JJG, told us we need to embrace our retail. This is something that during the mayor's campaign, we campaigned on. We need signage, we need creating a sense of identity, we need to embrace our retail shopping areas, and hopefully this is something that has been eye-opening to council, and maybe we can move forward with this. So I do want to thank Mr. Sanders. I want to thank Scott Walker from Walton EMC and Eric, our Economic Development Director, for putting this together for us. We have a lot of things happening in the city, and first is on March 4th, a week from today, at 10:30 a.m., we'll have the unveiling of our new outdoor fitness equipment at the park. This fitness equipment is being 100% donated by Miko Outdoor Fitness Equipment and Aska Park, two companies from Turkey, as a result of my trip to Turkey this summer. So please come out. There'll be representatives from the company there, and please come out and see what new equipment we have in store for the park Monday, March 4th at 10:30. Go to the next one. Friday night, I had the honor of attending the circus. Oh, well, I'll do this. One of the things, besides the project managers, we had Bruce Green, who is the executive director of Georgia Tourism and Trade, and he said we need to embrace the Snell. We need to be whimsical here in the city of Snellville. Well, as the chair of the Snellville Days Parade, I have embraced the Snell, and this is our logo, our sign for this year's parade. It's our 40th anniversary, and our theme for the parade is honoring our past, remembering our past, honoring our present, and celebrating our future. We are starting to take applications for the parade, so if you or anyone you know would like to be a part of our 40th anniversary celebration, please contact me. We're happy to have you in this year's parade. Or if you'd like to volunteer and help with the parade, please contact me. Friday night, I was honored to go to the circus. They had a VIP pre-show for us, and I wanted to share some pictures with you. This was an occasion that we were sharing something with children, and actually they shared more with me. They gave me more of a blessing than I probably gave them. But I want to thank Gas South and the Metro Atlanta Mayors Association. What they did is they allowed the mayors from Gwinnett County to attend the circus at the Gwinnett Arena, and we invited special needs kids that otherwise wouldn't be able to attend the circus, and to see the smiles on so many children's faces, and so many children that you thought you wanted to feel sorry for when you first saw them, but then to see how they brightened up when they saw the clowns and the elephants and the lions. They truly are just angels here on earth, and it was just really a great experience. This is an annual experience, so if you know anybody that would be a good candidate to attend next year, please let me know, and I'm happy to try to work with them to make that happen. While you get that, a couple more announcements. We have Rennie Curran, who was a graduate of the Brookwood High School, former UGA football player, had an event this Saturday that I was honored to attend for our male youth, trying to get jobs and show them what it means to be successful in today's world. And so I want to thank Rennie for coming back and being a mentor in our community. He had a great turnout. I see Eastside Hospital is present tonight. I want to thank them. They sponsored our Leadership Gwinnett class. We had to fight hard to get Leadership Gwinnett to come to the south side of Gwinnett County for that learning day, but they were very impressed with our facilities that we have here in the city of Snellville and with Eastside, so thank you for your hospitality for that. Also, before I get to the Cultural Arts Center, I want to announce on March 16th, Snellville Middle School, the new principal there, Katisse, and I are planning a job fair. On Friday, the students at Snellville Middle School will be participating in a career fair. But Saturday morning, we're having a job fair for all the parents that are out of work or that are underemployed. being a citizen, it's not just about the festivals, it's about what we can do to help our fellow citizens and our fellow neighbors. And so we have several different organizations coming to the job fair. So if you or someone you know are out of work or underemployed, please attend. Or if you have a business or an organization that you think can help our fellow neighbors, then please contact myself or Principal McCann so that we can have you be part of our first annual Snellville Job Fair, and that will be March 16th at Snellville Middle School from 9 to 1. Now, finally, in my last in the last city council meeting, I talked about my vision for the city of Snellville in my State of the City address. And I believe in the public comments, Ms. Barbara Bender came forward and said that I didn't have a plan to fund it. And that this was the first time I had put this vision forward. So I wanted to point some things out tonight. First of all, this is not a new vision by any means. This is something that I've been campaigning on for years since I've been on council. But what you see in front of you is a picture of the Wisteria Square property, the Bridge to Nowhere property, which the city actually now currently owns. We bought that a couple of years ago, much to the dismay of some citizens, but we do own it now. And my vision, go to the next slide. This is another picture of the Bridge to Nowhere, is to take this and turn it into something like this. As you can see in this picture, there's a fountain in the front, and then there is a stage area, and then there's a cultural arts center behind the stage area. If you'll go to the next slide, please. This is a rendering that former City Councilman Chad Smith did of what the outside of a cultural arts center could look like. And then on the bottom are pictures of the new Performing Arts Center in the city of Beaufort. And that's what I envision on the Wisteria Square property, something where we can use the Bridge to Nowhere and turn that into a stage area, where we can provide a cultural arts center where we have rental space for weddings and performance spaces for things like the ballet or the New London Theater indoors. Next slide, please. And possibly an outdoor amphitheater stage. This would be the Bridge to Nowhere turned into an outdoor stage. These are examples of some outdoor stages. Now the question becomes, what is the cost? What would this cost us for a cultural arts center? Actually, many cities have done this recently. These are pictures of the city of Duluth. They call theirs the Duluth Festival Center. It was actually paid for by their version of STAT. Through their Duluth Fall Festival, they raised the funds, and they just paid it off, and the construction of this facility was $1.5 million. You can see they have the actual building, which has the staging area, and you can see pictures. It has rental space for weddings. Outside, there's a small stage area. There is a fountain, and there's a park space there. Go to the next slide, please. Also, in the city of Greensboro, up by Athens, they just built a cultural arts center. Theirs cost them $2.5 million. Again, they have a performing arts center inside. They just had John Barry come and perform there. They have different concerts. So how would we in Snellville pay for a cultural arts center? In 2014, we'll be voting on whether we should renew the SPLOST tax. The SPLOST is the 1 penny sales tax. Right now, it's projected that we will get a little bit more than $15 million if this 1 penny sales tax is passed here in the city of Snellville. That would be our portion for Gwinnett County. Now, SPLOST funds can only be used on certain activities. We can be used to pay for parks, for roads, for public safety. We just built the new police department using SPLOST funds. But SPLOST funds can also be used to build cultural arts and civics facilities. With a $15 million projection, there is money in the potential SPLOST funds for us to do the renovations to Briscoe Park, to pay for passive parks, to do road projects, and to take $3 million and dedicate it to the construction of a cultural arts center. It cost us roughly $4 million to build the police department, which had a lot more needs than what a cultural arts center would have. And so based on estimates from other areas and estimates of what we've had in construction costs with the police department and the public works department, I feel fairly confident that approximately $3 million would cover the construction cost of a cultural arts center. We already own the property, and typically that is the biggest expense, is the real estate acquisition for the actual building of a new cultural arts center. So then the question becomes, what are you going to do once you get it built? How are you going to fund it? Next slide, please. This is something I took out of this year's budget. This is for our senior center, how much it cost us to run our senior center, an independent building here behind City Hall, annually. And if you look this last column, this by column, it goes 2010, 2011 budgeted costs, and then actual costs, and then 2012 actual costs. And then the last column is what we've budgeted for fiscal year 2013. That's our current fiscal year. And if you see at the bottom, the total amount we spend on running the senior center is $132,000 annually. That includes salaries. We have, I believe it's 2 full-time employees and a part-time employee at the senior center, and so that includes their salaries. Arguably, a performing arts or culture center would not need full-time employees, but if you leave it in there, you're still looking at about $100,000 a year to operate a building when you add in a utility cost. It cost us this year, so far, to operate the police department without salaries, just for the utility cost and the cleaning services and maintenance fees. It's cost us approximately $108,000 based on our current budget proposals. So how would we get source of revenue for operating costs? First of all, you would have rental fees. If you open this up to wedding spaces, you would have rental fees. Currently, by renting out the community room and renting out facilities in Briscoe Park and the senior center, the city generates about $50,000 in rental fees. Arguably, we could make somewhere around similar figures for rental of a cultural arts center. You would also make money off of ticket sales for events or usage fees. When you charge for John Barry or performers to come, or when you have organizations such as New London Theater use your stage, you charge fees for those things, or you get a percentage of their ticket sales. There are also federal grants out there. The National Arts Endowment Fund has several different grants. Now, there's no guarantee that we could get those grants, but we never know until we try. So I've just put one example of a grant that we could apply for that would help run the operating cost of a cultural arts center. And then we have our hotel motel tax. Every year we generate approximately $100,000 for the hotel motel tax, and a cultural arts center would be something that this money could be used towards. Now, everybody's going to say, of course, she wants us to stop supporting STAT, and she wants to take away from the festivals to support a cultural arts center. That's not what I'm saying. Hopefully, STAT will become self-sufficient. That was our goal, is to give them money, and eventually, as they grow, they will begin generating their own money. So hopefully, by the time this cultural arts center would be built, STAT would be self-sufficient. They would be in their 3rd or 4th year, possibly 5th year, by the time construction was complete. And so $100,000 a year is only a fraction of our hotel motel cost. And then finally, festivals. As STAT grows, hopefully just like the city of Duluth did, we will begin to profit off of some of the festivals we have here in the city of Snellville. That money can be reinvested into our community, and one of the ways it can be reinvested is in the Cultural Arts Center. So I wanted to share this with you tonight to show you that the Cultural Arts Center is not just some harebrained idea that the mayor's come up with. It's something that's been thought out. It's something that we have the potential revenue, this potential source of revenue to build and to maintain and operate. This is something that has been a divide for our city for a while, and I anticipate it will continue to be a divide. So I'm asking the citizens, I believe when I came door-to-door campaigning at your neighborhoods, this was something I told you about and something that you supported. But I'm asking you, as we begin to prepare for our SPLOS projects, to reach out to my fellow council members and let them know that this is something that you support and something you want to see on the ballot for SPLOS for 2014. With that, I want to let you know that we are working on our 2014 SPLOS projects, and so I will be forming an ad hoc committee of council for the SPLOS committee. SPLOS will be used for the next 5 years, and so with that committee I will ask Councilwoman Kraus and Councilman Emanuel to serve on that committee along with members of our staff, since they are not up for election this year. We will be forming a meeting of that committee in the coming days. I know staff has already been working with the county and planning for the SPLOS vote in November. Also, I made an appointment for the app committee. We're trying to start an app for our iPhones. We want a City of Snellville app, and I've asked Councilman Sabag to serve on that committee. Also, Buddy Scott John Richards and Erica Fleeman have agreed to serve on that committee. So we'll be starting working on that soon, and you'll find out what's happening in Snellville, hopefully with your smartphone app. Thank you all for coming out tonight, and with that, I will close the mayor's report and open it to public comment.
Catherine Creasy, 2829 Adela Court, Snellville. Last year, I got up and spoke to you all about the retirement of my middle son from the Atlanta Police Department, which he'll be retiring this next month. At which time, after 30 years service and age 51, he will receive 80% of his pay and continue his health benefits at the same cost he paid while on duty. I also told you I was astonished and dumbfounded that Snellville benefits for retired officers don't hold a candle to Atlanta. What a shame. I requested that you form a task force to see what you could do for Snellville Police Department officers who are eligible or will be eligible to retire soon. Now, are we going to do the same thing? Are we going to do the same for Atlanta? Surely we're better than Atlanta. We say we are. That's why we moved out here. But we have individuals in the Snellville Police Department who meet the criteria Atlanta has for their officers, and then some. But they're still working because the benefits are not sufficient. Shame, shame. I feel sure most of our citizens are unaware of this injustice. And if anybody here agrees with me, and I appreciate it if you'd stand. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Any other public comment?
I'm Gretchen Schultz, 2027 Tanglewood Drive, and I just wanted to give you a couple updates so you know what's going on with the farmers market and the community garden. The farmers market, we're currently accepting applications for our 2013 season, which will begin the June 1st. We've approved about 30 vendors so far. We have about 20 spaces open yet. And we have some exciting new vendors this year. We've made some personal visits to a couple of vendors that we were really hoping we could attract to our market that are at other markets such as Peachtree Road Farmers Market. And we have a couple of exciting new vendors that we're quite happy about. As far as the community garden, we're having a work afternoon on Saturday starting at 1 p.m. and we hope to build some raised beds and paint the tool shed that was donated to the garden by Jimmy Norton. So if anybody wants to come, I think most of the tools for building the beds will be there, but if you have a favorite paintbrush you want to bring to help paint the tool shed, that would be great. I think we'll be having a meeting on March 13th of the committee, and at that time we're going to set our grand opening date, which I expect to be early April perhaps. And we'll soon have applications available for people that want to rent a bed in the garden. Mr. Witz mentioned the St. Patrick's Eve casino night at Summit Chase Country Club. We're partnering with the Gwinnett Sunrise Rotary Club on this event, and so we're real excited about that. We hope to really have a really fun evening, and we've been busy trying to get table sponsors for that event, trying to get silent auction items, door prizes, and any local businesses that want to help out in that way, we would be so very appreciative. And they can contact me, Susan Chapelier, you mentioned Marcy. Also, any of us would be happy to work with any local business that wants to get involved in this event. I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Guess it's safe to come up now. Hello, my name's Todd Warner. I live at 3144 Turf Terrace, Snellville, Georgia, and I'm here to speak about our public comment once again. When I was blessed to see your agenda this evening, I thought, oh my goodness, we'll be out of here in less than an hour. I'm sorry if we're going to run you a little over that. One thing I was surprised at was on the work session agenda, nothing was on there about addressing the issues with public comment, as I had asked you to do a month ago. So I took the liberty of drafting some changes, some proposed changes to Ordinance Section 2-53, Public Participation. Section 1 has some changes, and Section 2.52, Decorum, Section B, had just 2 words that I thought were important to change. I was going to email this to y'all. I actually worked on it this evening because I don't have to do my homework for council meetings anymore. And I realized that whenever things are emailed out at the last minute, we all assume that there's some reason for that. There wasn't, other than I'm lazy and I didn't get around to it till this evening. So I gave Mr. Sabah a copy of this because he informed me that he needed something to read to help him sleep on the plane. I have a copy here for the city manager and each one of y'all. I will be happy to give this to the city clerk so she can disseminate it. And I would dearly like to see you address this at your next work session. If you have any questions that you would like to ask of me, I'm always available to any of you. I think you can probably track me down. And with that, I'll say thank you very much for a swift meeting, and I'll turn these over to the city clerk. Thank you.
Any additional?
Hi, Susan Chapelier, 2953 Williams Place, Snellville. I wanted to mention also on March 16th, actually starting March 14th, Bill Peterson, who's the owner and operator of Wild Wings Cafe at the Avenues, has offered to have a fundraiser for the canines. And it will start to go the 14th, 15th, 16th, and 17th. And we're working with Chief Whitehead and Trey and Mary Fergus and myself to get the ball rolling. But I just wanted to mention it's unfortunate it's the same night as the casino night, but it's also, a little bit longer. So I hope everybody will come out and support it. And as soon as we have some more flyers and so forth, I'll make sure everybody gets it. But Bill, even though his business is in the Avenues, he has lived in Snellville forever and ever. His children, 2 of his children graduated from South Gwinnett. Sean is still a student at South. And Mandy, his daughter, is a teacher at Shiloh. So there's a lot of community involvement there. So I just wanted to make everybody aware, and as we get more information, I'll share that with everybody. Thanks.
Thank you. Any additional public comment? See none. Can't see that far. It's 8:41 and we are adjourned.
Make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?